You know guys, this job comes with a lot of perks, I will admit. But perhaps one of my favorite ones is that every now and then I get to walk into Micro Center, take a bunch of hardware, and leave without paying. It's an amazing feeling. If you've never shoplifted before, highly recommend it. It's probably why they keep so much stuff behind glass now, because of how many times I've looted this poor business. Not only am I building a PC today, but I'm actually giving it away. That's right, I'm basically Robin Hood, stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. I guess I'm just that kind of guy. All right, let's get in there and shop till we drop, boys. Look at all these processors. I'm feeling AMD today, guys, but you know, the glass is keeping me out, or so they think. Oh, baby. Candy from a baby, dude. AMD Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, 8 cores, 16 threads, boost to 5 gigahertz, super fast in games. Yeah, this'll do. This build requires a solid AM5 board, and Micro Center has plenty to choose from, but I think I'm gonna go with this one. This is an Asus Tough Gaming B650 Plus Wi-Fi, PCIe Gen 5, DDR5, 12+2 power stages. We got USB 3.2 Gen 2x2. Let's go. For memory, I'm thinking 32 gigs is something nice. How about boom? T-Force Delta DDR5, baby. 32 gigs, we got two 16 gig sticks, 6,000 speed. Hopefully this is black. Is this black? Black. This is a fast CPU and all, but it's a little hotty. TDP of 120 watts. We need good cooling potential. Something like the Asus ROG Strix LC2360. This is what I'm talking about. I'm digging the blackout fans. These are actually nice ROG fans. They're very high performing. I've used them quite a bit. Got a 7th gen Asus pump. Nice little LCD on the front. This is S tier stuff, guys. S tier. If you guys are anything like me, you crave power, but not just any kind of power. No, stable, reliable power that you can trust, which is why I'm going tough, dude. Asus Tough Gaming A50 watt gold, baby. 80 plus gold certified, fully modular design, ATX 3.0 compatible with that 12 volt high power cable right out of the box. You know, I've had a lot of power supplies die on me in the past. It's because they were weak, but not this one. This one's tough. That's the wrong one. That's 1200 watt. Tough, dude. Only the toughest survive. But look at this, they're getting fancy with it. They caught on quick that glass is no match for the kleptomaniac genius, so they had to start putting stairwells in front of me too. But you know what, guys? Bam! Oh God, I can't be stopped. Inland 1 terabyte TN470. Looking at the graphics cards here, we are gonna go team green for this one. I want that DLSS, baby. Give me that ray tracing action. Now they do have a tough graphics card here, which would match the motherboard very nicely, and it is a fast card. But I also saw that they have a 4070 Super. It's not as tough, but it is a Strix. This is an Asus ROG Strix Gaming RTX 4070 Super. OC edition with 12 gigs G6X. Micro Center will be out of business by nightfall. All right, dudes, you knew this was coming. We obviously gotta go with the tough case. Not white, not white. I found a black one. They had one black one left, GT502. Beautiful case, dual chamber design, tempered glass on the front and side, tons of water cooling support, 360 support on the top, side, and bottom. It's a tough day, dude. It's a tough day. We gotta pick up some fans right now because the tough case doesn't come included with any. This is becoming increasingly popular with even high-end cases. People are just wanting to add their own cooling solutions in the mix. So we gotta pick up some fans. I do actually have some Asus ROG Strix fans at home, but I can't remember if I have enough of them for this case because there's a lot of fan mounting points in the GT502, but just in case, we're gonna have to pick up some of these guys. TF120s, adjustable RGB, high performance fans. I don't know how they stack up against the RG fans. I would assume that the ones I have at home are a little bit more high performing than these, but dude, when the fans are this tough, does it even matter? That's our haul. We got everything we need. Now we just walk out of here. All right, it's time to get our hands dirty. I'm gonna go full Diddy on this hardware right now. I already talked a little bit about the board at the store, mentioned the 12+2 power phases. We got a really nice VRM. These heat sinks are incredible. There's a lot of surface area going on here, which is gonna help dissipate the heat. We got alloy chokes, durable capacitors, and 8+4 pin EPS connectors. If you wanna do some crazy overclocking, we've got enough clean, stable power to do all that. The IO is also pretty sick. A lot of boards only have one USB-C port in the back. This one has two, one 10G and one 20G. Let's go. We got built-in Wi-Fi 6, 2.5 gigabit LAN with that tough LAN guard, baby, and USB BIOS flashback. I love this feature. I think it's one of the more underrated features of motherboards these days. It's also got two-way AI noise cancellation, so it reduces the background noise. That way your microphone audio comes out nice and clean. It's just an overall very feature-rich, put-together board if you're building with Ryzen 7000. Speaking of which, let's get her in there, boy. 7800X 3D. Actually, before we do that, I'm getting ahead of myself. We gotta remove this for when we install the cooler. You don't need to do this before CPU installation, but I just get paranoid that one day I'm just gonna like jam my screwdriver into the CPU like brah! Similar things have happened in the past. All right, we're going in. And now for what I'd consider the scariest part for any system builder is lowering the tension arm. I remember when I would first start building systems, I would just imagine thousands of pins just being crushed to death because I didn't line up the CPU properly, but that only happened once or twice. Doing memory Until this day, I still can't tell right off the bat which way the notch goes. It just seems like with every generation of DDR, the notch has gotten closer to the middle. It's just become more and more ambiguous. Eventually, it's gonna be exactly centered, and everyone's just gonna destroy their boards. DDR6 is just gonna have no notch. It's just like, good luck, 50-50. SSD time! Ooh, shit. Come on, baby. And SSD's done. Time to install the AIO. We got all of our mounty mounts right here. Just gotta install it really quick. Blah. Pre-apply thermal paste. Let her down nice and easy now, gentle. Alrighty. GT502, baby. These straps are so heavy duty. They look really clean, but they're also very high quality. They got Velcro as well. You can remove them if you want, but why would you? They complement the style of the build, and they're super functional. You can easily lift the case with these things without any kind of concern. The side panel system is just a button. It's just a button. I thought it couldn't get much easier than push pins. I also kind of like the fact that the very top of the side panel is not glass, so you can actually have somewhere to put your fingers without getting a bunch of prints on it. 8 expansion slots. We got 120 mount for a fan on the back, and there's also 3 120s supported on the side, 3 120s on the bottom, and 3 120s at the top. Tons of cooling potential. Not to mention, there's also 3 120 mounts behind the motherboard tray. That's right, in this dual chamber design where the power supply and the drives are on one side and the motherboard and GPU are on the other, you actually have, let me turn this around. I'm turning it around. Look at the straps are already coming in handy. Boom, baby. 3 120s can be mounted right here if you want additional cooling on the back of your motherboard for your drives, your power supply. Love that this side panel also comes off just the same way with that single button. And beyond just fans, it looks like you could possibly mount up to a 360 rad back here as well. Completely out of sight, out of mind, but if you're doing like a custom loop or something like that, it's a really nice option to have. You got a tray for a 3.5-inch drive rod there. I believe SSDs can be mounted on these panels if you're not installing cooling or fans here. And then you got power supply mount right there. Lots of room for cable management, and I like the grommets. Dust filter on the bottom though. Whoa, that's a lot to pull out. There's a dust filter on the top as well. You do got to remove these straps first, and then you can pop off the top panel to reveal dust filtration and ready to mount. That actually gives us a closer look at these metal hooks for a second. They are rock solid, bro. They are just fused to this frame. A few screws later. Now, these are the fans that we picked up at Micro Center, and these are perfectly fine, but remember I said earlier, I thought I had some ROG fans lying around, and what do you know, I do. ROG Strix XF120s. These are not RGB, they're completely blacked out, but that actually kind of matches what we already got going on with the AIO, and they're higher performing on paper anyways than the Tough fans. I'm sure these are perfectly fine, but these just outperform them a little bit spec to spec. So we're gonna go ahead and use these again. We've got 4 of them. I think we're gonna do 3 on the bottom here and 1 at the rear. So I'm gonna install these puppies right now, and then I guess we'll just move on to some cable management. I got some front panel connectors to wire up. Might as well install the PSU after that, and then I'll meet you guys back when we're ready for the GPU. Woo! PC's looking pretty good so far. Now we got the graphics card. Once again, our Asus ROG Strix Gaming OC Edition RTX 4070 Super. What an absolute unit. I really love this cooler design. It's my personal favorite out of all the 40 series cards. I've worked with it a lot. It's an absolute animal, but you gotta make sure that you have room for it. It is pretty chunky, 3.12 slots to be exact. And the build quality here is just really top notch. It's got a die-cast frame, shroud, and backplate. It's got a lot of heft to it. It's got triple axial tech fans, tons of airflow, but also very nice acoustically. And there's an enormous fin array that those are on top of. Just stacks of aluminum for days. We got a 12-volt high power connector rod there, and the board's power is all digitally controlled, of course. We've got high current power stages, 15K capacitors, all of which contribute to just optimizing the performance and stability of the card. A couple PWM fan headers right there, which reminds me you can also use Asus's GPU Tweak 3 software to control performance tweaking, thermal controls, and just basic system monitoring is all available within that software. So very nice to have. Hey-oh. Goodness gracious, that's a lot of rap. So much peel. Don't forget the back plate. Get in that Gen 5 slot, baby. Oh, the final screw. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men and a plug. I forgot to mention this, but I do appreciate the fact that our Tough power supply comes with sleeved cables, and they're actually nice. Usually the sleeve cables that come with power supplies are garbage, but these are actually pretty good. One thing I've noticed about this card and this cooler is that even though it's freaking huge, it doesn't really sag all that much. There might be like a itty bitty, like a millimeter or 2 of sag, but it's really not bad at all considering just the sheer size of this thing. And I think obviously the die-cast body helps a lot with that. The rigidity is top notch, but in case we do need a sag bracket, we got one right here. It comes included with the GT502 case, and build complete. There we go. Job well done, people. Let's roll montage. No, wait, hold on. All right, build complete, roll montage. All right, my dudes, the PC is looking super good. I absolutely love it. It turned out really nice. The RGB isn't over the top. I did configure the LEDs to orange because tough, baby. That's the tough color. You gotta go tough orange. And it is super cool and quiet. The system right now is about an arm's length away from me. We've been under load in this game, which is Horizon Forbidden West. We'll talk more about that in a sec. For about an hour now. The game's just been running, I've been running around, and I cannot hear the system over the air conditioning in the studio. And it's not even, the AC here isn't even that loud. So it's incredibly quiet. You might think, well, the temperatures are gonna be kind of high at that point. No, they're not. Spoiler alert, the GPU is looking really cool. Right now we're hitting around 56, 57 C. I have not seen it get hotter than, I think, 57 or 58 C, which is fantastic. We're at under 100% utilization, and core clock speeds are pretty high, around 28 to 2900 megahertz, pulling around 210 to 220 watts from the wall. The CPU temps are looking really solid as well. We're getting anywhere between 50 and 60 C on that 7800X 3D. Let's talk about performance. Specifically in this title that we're looking at today, Horizon Forbidden West, which just came to PC. Everyone's been talking about it. It's a very well-reviewed game. Everyone says it's good. The whole experience just gets a little bit better with all the Nvidia technologies that support it, like DLSS 3, Reflex, and DLAA, which is their deep learning anti-aliasing method. First of all, 2560 by 1440, very high preset. So this is the max quality setting that the game offers. I wanted to see how the game could perform without any kind of DLSS or upscaling initially, and it's doing a good job. That 4070 Super is doing work. It's putting in some good effort, 79 frames per second on average, and 61 FPS on the 1% lows. It's very playable for performance. However, with DLSS, we can obviously upscale that, which essentially means, if you're new here, that you're rendering the game at a lower resolution and then using AI to upscale the image and either maintain or even improve the image quality. With frame generation, I mean, just take a look at this, going from 79 frames per second on average, this is with zero DLSS, from 79 to 124. That is bananas. As I mentioned earlier, this game also supports DLAA and Nvidia Reflex. As a quick refresher, it's an Nvidia feature that is supported by select titles that essentially allows you to automatically lower your system latency by just simply enabling the setting, and that's going to improve the overall responsiveness of the game, and therefore your own responsiveness, your own reaction times will be, you'll have an advantage there. And that's going to really matter most during critical moments in combat when milliseconds mean the difference between life and death. So esports titles, super fast-paced shooters, and things like that. There's a wide variety of examples, but it's a really cool feature. And then there's DLAA, which stands for Deep Learning Anti-Aliasing, which is essentially just a method to smooth out those jagged edges that we were talking about earlier, to get rid of that stepladder effect that we see on diagonal lines. DLAA helps with that tremendously. It does so using deep learning. It uses the same sort of method that DLSS uses. It is kind of like, it's basically DLSS minus the upscaling. It's just working with, native resolution. All these things combined, DLSS 3, Reflex, DLAA. If you have an RTX card, 4000 series card, it does improve the overall experience of games like this. I love this PC. I'm in love with it, but not as in love as whoever wins it. So if you haven't entered the giveaway yet, please do so. There's a link in the description below. It'll take you right there. Best of luck to all y'all. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, toss a like before you go get subscribed for more tech content coming at you really soon, and I will see y'all in the next video.